start relationships with people. So that's exactly as this morning's message, Pastor had mentioned, we have a word from us about heaven, and that we're still here. We're still here. The primary reason we're still here is to share our faith with other people. So we're to be ambassadors here where we are. Another common thing we forget, and we've forgotten that we were in a battle. So 1 Peter 5, 8 through 9 says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour, who resists steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world." Okay, and then the book of Ephesians chapter 6. "Finally, my brother, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand." So we forget these things. We forget that we're ambassadors for Christ. We forget that we're in a battle, okay? A lot of that, think about that. God said, "You worship me or money." Okay? So we live in such a affluent culture where we're so blessed financially. We live, you look at over time and geography, we live like kings compared to other countries. And a lot of that stuff, you fight against it, but all the stuff, it starts kind of making your ears a little deaf and your heart a little hard, your eyes a little clear to being sensitive to the Spirit of God. And you start getting your priorities mixed up, and God's priorities you put off to the side. And we got to get back to remembering that we're in a spiritual battle. And sometimes that fear, when you want to go out and witness or share your faith at that moment, is a legitimate attack from the devil, from the powers of darkness. You think the devil wants you to share your faith? That's not always, don't get me wrong, your sinful flesh doesn't want you to either. Because your self-love and self-preservation kicks in, and I don't know what they were going to say. But you gotta also be mindful, there's no neutral ground. You're either for the Lord or for the devil. Something else we forget. What's that a picture of? Prodigal son. You forgot that you were redeemed from the blood of Jesus Christ. You forgot that you were that beaten down person on the side of the road. And that Christ saved you. Take it for granted. Because you have your ticket to heaven. Right? So maybe you have more in common with that person than you think about witnessing to than you thought. Maybe you're not that much more righteous. Maybe you could put yourself in their shoes and say, what would my life be like without Christ? Honestly, I don't know if I'm wrong for saying this. There's times when I look at some of my coworkers who do not profess Christ, do not claim anything to be a Christian, I say, how are they not more wicked? Sometimes that convicts me. Like some of these guys have some of these standards of morality, and it's just humanism. It's just, well, I just try not to hurt people. And you're like, I did that. Even, as a believer, it's like, this convicts me. I need to grow in holiness and sanctification. And don't get me wrong, but they're still on their way to hell. Okay, they're just trying to live a good walk type of thing. But had I not had Christ, where would I be? You should ask yourself that. Something else we need to take seriously is the judgment seat of Christ. Okay? 2 Corinthians chapter 5. So there's the great white throne, there's judgment day for the lost, the sinners whose name is not found in the book of life. Okay? But there's also the judgment seat of Christ. That's for the believer. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 10 through 11. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he hath done, whether it be good or bad. That's speaking to the believer. Okay? Something I want to point out about this. So when we're all standing before the judgment seat of Christ, and let's say maybe it's individually, maybe it's as a whole group, okay? So everything is said all over, all of times over, okay? And you have every Christian from all history and all the world is standing before God and the judgment seat of Christ. What will we look like compared to Christians in history? Okay, so here's the chart. So the red dots, don't get too hung up on the chart. I'm not going to explain it. The red dots is someone's attempt to say, here's where Baptists were found throughout history, okay, tracing it back. The point is that the believers historically were persecuted to death. Their property was confiscated. It was against the law for them to hold positions of authority. Okay? So paganism as the government would persecute the Christians. Do you think they shared their faith? Just in Acts chapter 8. We already read they were scattered abroad and preached wherever they went. Fox's Book of Martyrs says, it has been said that the lives of the early Christians consisted of persecution above ground and prayer below ground. Their lives are expressed by the Colosseum and the catacombs. Beneath Rome are the excavations, which we call the catacombs, which were at once temples and tombs. The early church of Rome might well be called the church of the catacombs. There are some 60 catacombs near Rome in which some 600 miles of galleries have been traced. And all these are not all. These galleries are about 8 feet high and about 3 to 5 feet wide, containing on either side several rows of long, low, horizontal recesses, one above another like berths in a ship. In these, the dead bodies were placed and the front closed, either by a single marble slab or several great tiles laid in mortar. On these slabs or tiles, epitaphs or symbols are engraved or painted. Both pagans and Christians buried their dead in these catacombs. When the Christians' graves have been opened, the skeletons tell their own terrible tale. Heads are found severed from the body. Ribs and shoulder blades are broken. Bones are often calcined from fire. But despite the awful story of persecution that we may read here, the inscriptions beneath breathe forth peace and joy and triumph. Okay, so that Fox's Book of Martyrs, highly recommend. Amazing read. But how will we look historically compared to these other Christians standing next to us? They faced death. They faced torture. They shared their faith. What excuse do you have? What about geographically? You have all the people in history stand there next to you at the judgment seat of Christ. You have all the people from around the world during your time, during your life, standing next to you at the judgment seat of Christ. Do you take for granted your freedom of speech? What persecution do we really have here? I mean, seriously. Somebody refused to take my gospel tract? I mean, come on. So just some thoughts, to think about is at the judgment seat of Christ, what kind of bizarre group of people will we be? We're not the norm of Christianity. We're the freaks compared to other Christians. Are you telling me you weren't persecuted and you didn't share your faith? How does that make sense? What will those conversations look like with somebody speaking? Are you ashamed of Jesus? He's not ashamed of you. So, from 1900 to the present, about 33 million Christians were martyred. From 33 AD to 1900, about 14 million. So there's been more Christians persecuted and martyred for their faith in recent times than in the past. Okay, what if I asked you to imagine for a minute, what does God see right now? You look through God's eyes. What does he see? What does he envision? Okay. Think about the angels. Think about maybe hear the worship music. Just put yourself there for a second. What does he see? Okay. You know, and it's amazing to think about. But what else does God see? I'm not checking my text messages. Turn on a Metronome app. I hope this is very annoying. Every time you hear that click, 2 people die. Every 5 minutes, 600 people die. From the time I started to the time I finished speaking, about 4,800 people died. 150,000 people died in 24 hours. Where do you think most of those people are going? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 souls in hell. You can't hand out a gospel tract? Is there escape from hell? In Luke chapter 16, verse 22 through 31, we have the story of Lazarus and the rich man. Okay? I'm not going to go through that whole story, but in there, the rich man begs Abraham, the rich man's in hell, but he died in hell, he's in torment. He's begging Abraham to send somebody to his brothers, to send somebody back home to earth. Okay? But they won't come here. This man's fully conscious in hell. He's fully aware in time, in real time, that people are on earth that he loves and he doesn't want to come there. If he can't escape, at least let my family escape. Okay? People in hell believe in evangelism. And I wonder if we do. Romans 10, 13 through 14. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? Do you really love God in your neighbor? Let's take it all the way back to where we started in Luke chapter 10 there. So the lawyer gave the right answer. Verse 27, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, with all thy strength, with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. Okay? So what is loving God? Well, loving God is obedience to God. Okay? What if I was on a ship? Most of you know I was in the Navy. Actually, never did a tour on a ship or anything, but I was able to walk around on a destroyer, U.S. destroyer a little bit. So what if you get on this ship, okay, it's your first day you're in the Navy, hey, this is great, you're going to be a sailor. And everyone's like, hey, we got an awesome captain. Our captain is the best. No one is better than our captain. You know, this is going to be a good time. You got the greatest captain there ever was. And you're just enjoying your day or anything else. And all of a sudden, someone comes over the loudspeaker. It's the captain's voice, and he says, man your battle stations, incoming attack. Man the torpedoes. And everyone stands around and says, did you hear that voice? Our captain is one of those. He has beautiful great voice. No one does anything. What would you think of those sailors? Do they really love the captain? They're not obeying what he's telling them to do. Do you really love God? Or are you just saying it? You're just singing the songs. John 14:15, if ye love me, keep my commandments. Luke 6:46, Jesus asked a question to you and to me. And why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? Just look at all. we do this? What does this actually look like? Okay, we're here. Now listen, our ears are open. The coals are starting to be warmed up. A fire might be kindled for us to obey the one that died for us. So here we got lifesaver ring, okay? Let's say somebody's floating down a river. Okay, they're having a good time. They're tubing with their friends, enjoying the day, okay? You know that there's danger ahead. There's a waterfall, and it's a long one. It just lands on rocks. You're like, oh man, this guy's not a local. He doesn't know he's got to get out of the water right here. So you jump in, and you're yelling, but the water's getting loud, you can't hear it. You jump in, and you just got to pull him out. You wrap him up, and you start trying to get him out of the water. What is he going to be thinking? He'd be like, what are you doing? I'm having a good time floating down this river. He's content, he's happy, he sees no danger, and you're trying to tear him out of that water, okay? He's going to be offended. He's going to be confused, okay? So, in evangelism, when we come to somebody and say, you need to ask Jesus in your heart. You need to do this. Jesus died for your sins, you need to do this. That can be confusing. It really can. Because they don't see any danger. They see no need for what you're saying. And they're having a fun time with their friends. So all of a sudden, your urgency, your passion about what you're talking about, you're not talking on the same level, okay? So this guy's looking at this map. Basically, what we need to do is we need to get people lost first, so they can be saved. Okay? So, Grant, is you down there? In my pocket, I got this stuff, okay? Label that medicine. I need you to remove this, okay? Yeah, I need you to take this medicine. It's good for you. Should he take it? He might, But here's the point. It might be good for him. Might not. How does he know? Why does he need to take it? I sold my car for this. This is how expensive this is. It costs a lot of money. You need to remove this right now. Okay, you're sick. You agree? I added to the information that it costs something. Still a little bit confusing. Okay. Well, how do we approach evangelism? How is it that we approach people? Jesus died on the cross for your sins. You're a sinner. You need to receive Christ. That can be confusing. It costs something. It costs a lot. It's implying that I need to do something with that. Well, I'm not convinced I am a sinner. I'm not convinced I am sick and in need of medicine. Okay? So a wise doctor, instead of just seeing that patient and giving it to him, the doctor knows he needs it. Okay? He's done the blood test, he sees what's going on. But for me to get buy-in of my patient, I'm not thinking this out first. Okay? I'm saying, listen, let's talk about the symptoms that you have here. You have a disease called sphenopalatine ganglioneuralgia. Very specific. Okay? And with this disease, you've been experiencing dizziness. You had headaches, okay, you've been sweating a little bit, you've had nausea, diarrhea, and you go through 10 things that proves to him, specific things, proves to him that he's got this disease. And he's like, you know what, I had an experience in that. You know exactly what you're talking about. I was wondering about what that was, and now you showed me what that was. And then he becomes concerned of the information that you just told me that I could die from this. I said, listen, I paid money out of my own pocket. I want you to have the cure. I want you to have the medicine. Now he's going to receive that. Okay? Now he's interested in what I have to offer. Why? Because I approached it completely different. Okay? So when you read the Gospels, pay attention to this, that Jesus does the exact same thing. When people run up to him and say, great ruler, what must I do to be saved? What must I do to receive eternal life? He doesn't tell them I'm the resurrection and the life. I'm going to die for your sins. It's very interesting. It's different than what we might do. He starts giving them commandments. Okay? 10 commandments. He starts showing them their need for a Savior. He starts to get them lost first. And these are people that ran up to him asking for salvation. Okay? So, in Romans 7:7, Paul tells us, I had not known sin but by the law. Galatians 3:24 says, wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Christ, that we might be justified by faith. Romans 3:19-20 teaches us that now we know that what things soever the law saith, to say to them who are under the law, that every mouth may be stopped, and all the world may become guilty before God. Listen to verse 20 here. This is in your Bible. Therefore, by the deeds of the law shall no flesh be justified in his sight. For by the law is the knowledge of sin. Your Bible says that. That's the purpose of the law, is to show people specifically their sin so they can repent of it. Repentance, along with faith, is necessary for salvation. If you don't give them specific sins to repent of, how are they supposed to repent? The question is, do you love them enough to be patient with them, to take the time to show them their need for repentance?
Amen. That's good.
What they'll do, they can tell you, they can see that you're passionate about it. They might take the vial from your hand and say thank you to your face. They're just being nice. They're not really applying it to themselves. Okay? You make them convinced. This isn't some kind of car sales tactics. This is following the footsteps of Christ to pierce through man's pride, to humble them in heart. Because in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 34, God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So if they want to receive grace, if you really love people enough that you don't want them to go to hell, they need the grace of God. They need to be humbled in heart. Okay? So this is how we do that. Okay? And so you just watch that. Do we have time for this? This is a 4-minute video. Yeah, okay. Let's see if this plays here. The question is, can you use this?
So you're saying one of these?
It's the easiest way to share the gospel.
You do this every week?
Yeah?
Huh?
Heavenly Father, I just pray that you guide us and you go out and share your gospel tonight, Lord.
I was born in a Christian family. We went to church, and everything was fine and dandy in my life until something happened to me and my family when I was in high school that completely shattered my faith in God and turned my life upside down. My dad wanted to open up a business with his best friend. My dad's best friend ended up being deceitful about certain parts of the business deal. It went sour, and we went from being well off financially to basically having absolutely nothing in the bank account in a matter of days. To make things worse, my dad began to behave really strangely. And the psychiatrist at the time diagnosed him with a disease called delusional schizophrenia. We checked in my dad to a psychiatric hospital. And so when I didn't see God healing my dad, when I didn't see God giving us the finances that we needed, I said, you know what? Everything that I've been taught about God in the Bible is absolutely wrong. And so very quickly, I embraced atheism. So when I went to college, I was in college as an atheist. I embraced evolution. I was partying. And so after a while of going through this, I began to search. I began to search for, hey, what's the meaning of life? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing in life? I was watching a movie with my best friend, and we left the movie theater. We saw that there was a group of people. There was one lady that came up to me. She said to me, have you received your $1 million today? And I said, what? and she gave me something. It was a piece of paper. I didn't think too much of it, and I just took it and I put it in my pocket. Now, in all honesty, I had planned on waiting just until I was out of view, and I was going to throw that piece of paper in the trash. I didn't really care about what it said. So when I got back home, I was taking out my stuff, and lo and behold, this piece of paper came up, and I began to read it, and it said, "Here is the $1 million question. Will you go to heaven when you die? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life." And so when I read that, my heart began to pound and I began to get goosebumps. And it was as if my whole life flashed in front of me. I went and I just kneeled beside my bed and asked God, "Please forgive me. I'm so sorry for what I've done. I've done so many wrong things against you." God used living waters in my life to bring me to faith. And he used the $1 million tract specifically to bring me to Christ. This woman that gave me that tract that night, she had no idea how God was going to use it in my life. She had no idea that just a few minutes later I was going to be in my room, on my knees, crying and asking God to forgive me for all the wrong things that I had done in my life. And now, by the grace of God, I'm able to take that same tract and also bring other people to faith. Truly, God uses it to make a difference and to usher so many more people into his kingdom.
Can you do this? Can you hand out a gospel tract? Maybe you say, "I'm not to that point where I can speak to somebody, not to that point where I can have that conversation." But you know what? Handing out a gospel tract, that is handing out the gospel. It is handing out the life-changing news of the Lord Jesus Christ. So Isaiah 55 verse 11 says, "So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper the thing whereto I sent it." That's God's word. That's scripture going into their heart and mind. Don't underestimate the power of God's living word. That's actually the number one thing. When someone tells you or you hear about a problem they have, you start writing down some Bible verses. Handwrite it out. Put it on their mirror in the bathroom. Remember that. And the word of God will go forth and accomplish and prosper in that person's heart and mind. Will you join the harvest? So just to recap what we went through, we were told to go. And we asked the question, was that an option? We found out that the obstacles in our way are just illogical excuses rooted in our self-love and worldly self-preservation. So we don't really have reasons to not share our faith. We just put things in place in our minds so that we can stay comfortable. We've countered the common lies we believe with truth and reality. Okay, so those common lies that we buy into is that we have enough time. They don't want to hear it. They've already heard it. I just need to walk the walk, and I have to talk the talk. Okay. But as we looked at that, those are lies that we believe. We don't really have that much time. We're not always guaranteed tomorrow. People are asking questions. They are hungry for the truth. And the Lord told me that the Lord can't give them peace. Only Jesus gives them peace. Not everyone has heard the gospel. Okay? And finally, looking at the walk and the talk, specifically, if you go out and start sharing your faith, okay, how much deeper will your prayer life go? You start praying for that person you talk to. How much more will you study the Word of God because you knew the Bible verse was in there, but you didn't know exactly the reference. And so then you get home, you look it up right there on the spot. You'll never forget that again. Because that day, that guy named Dan asked you that question. if we're obedient. So we were reminded of the things that we often forget, that we're ambassadors, that we're in a battle, and that we are sinners saved by grace. We looked at the judgment seat of Christ and how we are uniquely free in condemning the quiet. We looked at God's perspective, knowing that 150,000 people will die today. Most of them will be in hell forever. And we challenged our degree of love toward God and our neighbors. The most loving thing you can do, think about this. I love other people. I love mankind. Because I have to, because I'm a Christian. That's how we approach it. When you say you love somebody, well, let's take that to the extreme. What's the most loving thing you can do for somebody? Tell them the gospel. There's nothing else more loving. Because you're going beyond this life into eternity. There's nothing more loving than sharing the gospel. Remember that. So then we also learned that we need to follow Christ's example and get people lost with the Ten Commandments first so that they can be humble in heart, repent, and receive Jesus' blood atonement for their sins. So in closing, let's look at Psalm 126, verse 5 through 6. And I just challenge you and invite you to be the doer of the word and not a hearer only. Psalm 126, verse 5 and 6 says, "They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. He that goeth forth and weepeth, bearing precious seed, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing the sheaves with him." Have you shed tears for the lost? Do you care that people are going to hell? Will you join in the harvest? Came across this hymn. It's in 384 if you want to follow along. To whom much has been given. We gather in God's presence to worship him this hour. We honor and exalt him. We kneel to him in prayer. Our words are but a silence unless we do as he desires. For to him much has been given, much more shall be required. To whom much has been given, much more shall be required. You have given gold and silver. Will you give them your lives?